cannot hear you if you're talking, Ensconce.
Let's start with 007 if you want to start with GGWP.
Works for me. Works for me. So, GGWP, we're looking at a standard 3DDs. Interestingly enough, we are getting the Radar Yu Yang because it's not been banned. It's been banned several times today. Shima and Daring to go along with it, so normal 3DDs. Then you're getting triple Des Moines with a Venezia of Ducky Shot looking to hit and chomp on any DDs on the enemy team. Then Yamato and Montana sitting back there as the battleships ready to look for and absolutely annihilate any ship that they can.
I'm back. I had to do a little uncling.
Well, welcome back. So we've got 007 with an Ohio Kremlin so it can point its nose in and do whatever it's going to do. And then something that absolutely stands out, 5 cruisers, only bringing 2 destroyers, a Daring and a Shimakaze, that are going to be flanked by triple Moskva, a Des Moines, and a Venezia. That's a lot of radar. That's a lot of stellinium.
Stellinium bias is real. Remember, there's a reason Petro is the banned ship by the entire community in this tournament for NA. Or was it actually global ban, or was it just NA ban? I don't know.
Global, because it was the most requested ban in all the regions. They just went ahead and took it out.
Which tells you exactly why it's not in the game. Daring of Roxy and Matsukaze is going towards B. Des Moines looks like he's going to set up on that E6 island there, ready to radar anything that tries to poke in. Interesting, because usually you see the cruiser sitting on the other side on the E45 island, but we'll have to see what happens with that. Double Des Moines Yu Yang heading towards A. That is a lot of radar ready to show up whatever comes in and tries to smoke. And then the Montana, the Venezia, and the Shimakaze are heading towards C.
I'm going to tell you now, I don't think that's a radar Yu Yang. I actually think it's a smoke Yu Yang that's going to be used to move those Des Moines in a consistent, rapid fashion, because we did see a Yu Yang with a Salem in a previous match. Over on the other side with 007, we've got a Shimakaze leading the way for a Venezia and nothing else over to Alpha. Against that double Des Moines, looks like Alpha's probably not going to happen because they're sending all their resources over to Charlie. Kremlin, Moskva. Yes, just not many. Plus, even an Ohio heading over wide to Charlie, probably going to be going all the way to that 9-10 line. So if any advantage is claimed early, it's going to stay claimed for a while because 007 is going to spend the first 3, maybe 4 minutes of this match just getting into position and nothing else.
Well, and if you look at this Shimakaze for GGWP, he's actually going wide. So they've scouted out 007. They know that this is what they're likely going to do. And does he have 20? He's got 12s. So he's actually pre-torping this. I think he's a little early on the torps, but he's got to have some semblance that this is what they're doing. And I think you're going to see triple Moskva Kremlin come around the outside.
Interestingly enough, according to my thing, and I don't know if your mod tells you differently, Ensconce, it's telling me that the Shima has 12-kilometer torps, so not the 20-kilometer noobs, which means it's really interesting that he's launching that early. He's got to be looking for the early DD, just trying to poke up and find stuff.
Well, you were right about the Yu Yang. It's smoke.
Yeah, absolutely. Pan Asian smoke lasts maybe a minute and a half and then has a rapid 20-second cooldown. A lot of other teams are using gearings for that long duration smoke, that 2.5-minute smoke. But it also means that once you place your smoke, you don't get to move it for 2.5 minutes. So if those Des Moines get locked in a position they want to get out of, well, a Pan Asian smoke is going to be much more versatile in positioning. And sure enough, that's exactly what they see as Dyer is moving to take A and looking at a whole bunch of torpedoes coming straight at him. Some excellent predictive torping from Desert Rat of 007.
He's going to dodge the first 2 sets easily. It's that third set he's got to keep an eye on and make sure that he does the little shimmy. Looks like he should be clear there on the dodge, which will mean early cap to GGWP. But what about these Des Moines? They've got the torp spots. They should have plenty of time to avoid, but we'll have to see.
Well, they did a good job of clearing them out of this smoke. So the Des Moines are stuck, luckily for them, and I think they know there's no battleship. In the meantime, the Ohio has been chunked down to 73,000 health. And again, this is what we're talking about with the communication. If nothing's happening at sea this long into the game, you have to know that they're coming in here. And I almost think you take something in and you cheekily go get that cap for the short term. You're going to lose it in the long term. but they're just chucking torpedoes down the 910 alley, and now they've spotted the Kremlin, and Ducky's gonna find himself in a not happy place.
They haven't spotted the Kremlin yet. Maybe they did briefly, but right now it's not. And Ducky, on the other hand, is spotted by the Kremlin. And here comes the shots.
Venezia's turning in a little bit. One of them connects, not too much damage, about 4,500. Whole bunch of torps are moving though. Got some Shimakaze torps, plus the little torpedoes of the Venezia slowly strolling on over toward the Kremlin. Doesn't look like they're going to connect unless they have enough range for this Moskva. Do they? He's turning in.
Looks like but he's going to dodge.
Oh, man, that was pretty close, though. And Venezia torpedoes, one of them is dead on for this Kremlin. If it lasts long enough, that's absolutely one into the nose of Soviet Baguette. Looks like this finally, after 4 to 5 minutes worth of time, 007 has rolled into position. It's got the trebuchets on the walls of the sea cap, and it's ready to start ripping it down. And sure enough, we already see GGWP nosing out, trying to look to get away at the same time as GGWP looks to push into Alpha, with the Yu Yang smoking the Des Moines in its new radar position, although that's a lot of torps.
The problem, though, is the trebuchet may be the superior siege weapon of the Middle Ages, but if there's nothing there to hit, can it do anything? Because we look, and this group is kiting it back very effectively. They're just going to use the Shimakaze to keep launching walls of torpedoes all the time as 007 tries to move forward. And from there, they're just going to sit there and start looking at the ships, because look at where their Des Moines is. Look at where the Yamato is. They're getting to spots where those Kremlins and Moskvas have to push up into the torps to be able to avoid cross shots from a Yamato on the other side of the map.
Well, take a look at Fazy in the Des Moines. He got cracked pretty hard. He's at 22,404. So that's going to be their main source of cross shots, and he's down 50%. And on the other side, the Venezia and Shimakaze are going out wide, so the Yu Yang Des Moines Yami combo are gonna be unable to turn around this corner.
Looks like 007 is trying to put some damage into Amatsuki. Looks like he was spotted briefly off the Des Moines. They're about to shave off about 6,000 health, maybe a little bit more as the Des Moines is continuing to fire, but nobody else really has shots. Meanwhile, Eagle Lance is running up that middle passage looking to make some plays. If he's able to sneaky on up there, Fazy is exposing all sorts of the front of his ship, and those Ohio guns rip right through the front of a Des Moines. That may be a dead U.S. cruiser. Shell's going to be coming in any second. They get launched. Here they're coming. They're coming in for Fazy. Are they going to connect? Thumpity thump. Down goes Fazy. Eagle Lance claiming a central position and opening up Bravo and continuing to move forward, looking for another Des Moines to kill.
And that's just brutal. I mean, 457s on the Ohio overmatched the entire thought of a Des Moines, much less its body. So it's going to be, that's such a strong position now. They have no DD in position to deny him, and he's going to just back out of there cheekily, just moving back. That being said, oh my goodness, the Des Moines of Annoying Italian just got chunked, and he might not make it out of here alive. That Yu Yang's opening up on him to keep him spotted, and here come shots from the other Des Moines. Is this the kill on Annoying Italian?
Yeah, I don't know if you open water, if you fire at this point as the Yu Yang, you've got that's why, because you got a Venezia right there and a Shima, and you're down to half health to take 3,000 off of a Des Moines. Not the trade I would have taken. Plus, they've shifted off of A, which is allowing Desert Rat and the Venezia to come and cap A. So they've given up C, they've been unable to cap B, and while they got A early, they've shifted most of their team, except for this Des Moines, off of A.
The Annoying Italian continuing to annoy GGWP as shells overpen all around the Annoying Italian, leaving him with 7,000 health, a working reverse, and now a working heal button that's brought him back up to 13,000, actually a little bit higher. If we look over on the 910 line, we see the Kremlin of Soviet Baguette has pointed his nose at the enemy and continues to claim space for almost free, as the Moskva of Walked and Woaded does take it for free. And that's going to be the thing that starts to scratch his hull. Moskva of Elger chipping in, and the third Moskva of Judge also moving up. You got the Russian wall moving forward, trying to claim space as the Shimakaze of Zika down to 2,000. Ducky Shot forced all the way off into the A-line, and the Montana Battleship Princess is running from the constant shells. It's not going to kill him, but it's going to move him. And right now, 007 has C, but they don't have anything else. That is until the Desert Rat picks up A.
And Annoying Italian just scurries forward just far enough that he doesn't quite die. He takes 3 hits, but it only knocks him down to 5k, so he's still alive and living on a prayer, to be honest, right now. But over at A, we're seeing the Yu Yang rotate back over, and the Des Moines in there to spot stuff, so we'll have to keep an eye on what's happening as they try to reaggress into A after they lost it.
Well, and you got to talk about control discipline. The Ohio moved up the little slot by the Dorito Island forward, and then realized that the Daring and Yu Yang were likely coming to counter it. And rather than just sticking in there or moving forward to his death, he backed up. He's 3-point turned, and now he's moving into B. So you don't see that from many Battleship players. They commit to something. If they overcommit or they sit there and then they can get countered, he went in, he made his play, he got his shot, he's moved up, and now he's moving to another part of the map.
I have to point out that right now, there's a high rise of the island between Sagelev and Soviet Baguette. But as the Yamato continues to move, his guns are not looking at in that way, nor, I believe, are the Kremlin's guns. But that's a lot of broadside if he chooses to use it. Sagelev, however, staring directly at the Torps as he tries to juke, but does catch one in the face from Desert Rat's Shimakaze, and the Des Moines of Yoshi is claiming A. The Venezia and Shimakaze did want to try to push, but a Des Moines ain't nothing to mess with, and even a Venezia doesn't have the win in a Des Moines that's too darn close. Now that nobody is spotting the Des Moines, he is able to keep this thing, and he will probably get the cap in about 40-something seconds from now, which will bring it back to cap parity 1-1 unless the Daring of Amatsukaze is able to finalize B. I don't see any way that they're going to reset him outside of Mad Dog, and he opens up.
That being said...
Shima opened up.
Yeah. That being said, it is important to note, while 007 came in with a health lead, they've only increased it. It's now up to 160, almost 170,000, which, considering it came in, it was about 40,000 when they came in because the extra cruiser versus DD and the cruisers they brought in. But this game is in a real perilous spot. You're running low on health to be able to combat this, and most of your health is on a Des Moines and your Yami, is where, like, about half your health is remaining right now.
Well, and I want to talk about scouting for a second. We talked about it ahead of time that we knew that they were most likely to make this play. They brought 12-kilometer shimmy torps here. If you have a Yu Yang and you see that they have the Soviet wall, you know, maybe... Oh, sorry, Moskva just gets citadel right there. But you have to be able to counter that. And so far, they're just surviving it, if that makes sense. The Moskvas are high health, the Kremlin's high health. There's no DD to threaten.
They're just trying to weather the storm, and I don't know if this is one you can weather.
It's true.
Yeah, I think I've seen submarine movies where they bang away with active ping and just drive everyone in fear from them, and it feels like those triple Moskvas and all that radar, nobody wants to contest it. Everybody's just running. They're trying to make plays on the other side of the map, and in fact, GGWP did just take A, might actually be coming back in with Amatsukaze to try to take Bravo now that I think that radar is down. I think 007's going to have to try to force something, but at the same time,
torps,
they've got
though.
130 points in the lead.
Look at the torps on the Yamato. Sage is gone.
Yeah, Yamato's dead.
No way he survives that brutal set of Shimakaze and Daring torps.
Well, and the only thing that counters Moskva, Kremlin, Moskva coming up the outside is they have to give broadside to something. Right now, they're giving broadside to the Des Moines, who has opted to stay dark, clearly. But I feel like the Yami should have been focused on that rather than trying to drive forward in between B and A.
Yeah, I mean, if the Yamato had the cross shot on the Kremlin, imagine what cross shots he had on those Moskvas as they came out from behind the corner. But he just got caught by way too many torpedoes and did not have a way out, well, other than down. Down worked.
I think I also have to question the choice on the 12-kilometer torps. If you're going to put a Shima over there and you know you're going to be expecting a push of ships outside there, 12-kilometer torps does not give you a lot of room to play with. Sure, the 20 kilometers can be spotted from almost a mile away, but it's probably worth more to have the distance to be able to engage and harass rather than having to rely on them coming into you. Because I've watched at least 2 or 3 times where those torps looked good on lines but have fallen short just this game alone.
I do have to wonder. I see shell after shell coming in on Soviet Baguette in the Kremlin rather than focusing down on Moskva. Moskva's going to have less health, less armor, and less healing, and yet the Kremlin here is kind of the focus target as it's taken multiple shells now from Battleship Princess's Montana and the Des Moines and Daring opening up. I recognize that they're probably trying to get those big guns off the field before Arch Zero feels both of them, or rather all of them, in the face, but there's no way they're going to kill this Kremlin before the Des Moines does outside of incredible amounts of luck.
And
there he goes.
Down goes Fraser.
There he goes.
Healthy dose of stellinium delivered straight to the bow.
Well, it's just a noose, and they're tightening the noose. The Ohio pushed up a little too far. He's backed up. The Shima and the Venezia have done an excellent job, even though they haven't capped. They've been continually harassing the A side, and they're just letting the Moskvas and Kremlins push up around them. They've got nowhere to go.
Remarkably enough, Soviet Baguette has fallen. That was a huge source of health, and now they still have 3 Moskvas to go. If Ducky Shot is somehow able to slide onto the side of a Moskva, he could absolutely Citadel the ever-living crap out of him. That being said, they only have to worry about the Montana of Battleship Princess trying to be able to fire out some other shots. I just don't think that's going to happen. With a 160-point lead, looks like 007 is trying to seal the deal by taking the B cap, and with a whole bunch of really low health people huddled together north of Bravo, one of them goes down. More shells coming out toward Dyer. He's going to go down to 3. That's really low DDs, and they are running, sieged from all sides.
And I don't know if you saw it, but then again, right there, Walked and Woaded manages to dodge torps because they die right before they get to him. Those 12-kilometer torps on the Shima, while yes, they're hard to spot, I feel like they don't give you as much as the 20 kilometers do.
Well, and what were their bans? Harugama, what were they afraid of? They were afraid of being burned down by the Harugama, which, bringing in this comp, I'm not quite sure why. You can basically radar out anything the Harugama is going to throw at you. Mm-hmm. But I think this just came down to scouting. You're going to see the Montana try and ram the Ohio, but the Moskvas are going to say, I don't think so.
Yep.
Even the Daring.
Everybody opens up.
Yeah, it looks like that double Des Moines push with a Pan-Asian smoke line, it got them to A, it got them A, and then it didn't get anything else. And in order to grab A with so much force, they did actually rotate a Des Moines back toward the mid to try to shore up some of that weakened state. But they had nothing, absolutely nothing prepped for the wrecking ball that was 007's triple Moskva and Kremlin comp. They had the Shimakaze with the 12-click torps kind of chucking them in the way, but when they don't connect, it's not going to do the shtick. Maybe if the Shimakaze had kind of hidden away somewhere and threatened whoever comes through the door first gets a shot in the head, well, he didn't even do that. He ran, and it just didn't work as attrition falls to 007, 007 taking game 1.
And that was a convincing stomp there. That game, it didn't look close, and it wasn't even as close as it looked, if that makes sense. It was such a gap there between the teams, if we're being honest.